They told you there was a shortage. They told you to pay over MSRP. They told you prices were high because there were no cars. Look at this. Across the United States, millions of brand new vehicles are sitting idle, parked in overflow lots, cooking under the sun, losing value every single day. This doesn't look like a shortage. It looks like a crime scene. And here's the question nobody wants to answer. If nobody is buying and inventories are exploding, why are prices still insanely high? The answer isn't inflation, and it isn't demand. It's something far more dangerous, because if you're planning to buy a car this year, or worse, if you already have a car loan, you're standing inside a trap, and most people won't realize it until it's too late. Before we talk about dealers, we need to talk about you, because the real victim of this collapse isn't the dealership owner. It's the middle class. During the pandemic, logic disappeared. People paid $50, $60, even $70,000 for vehicles that were never worth that much. Zero down. 7-year loans. Interest rates that should have been illegal. That created a silent disaster called negative equity. Right now, millions of Americans owe more on their car than the car is worth. You can't sell it. You can't trade it in. You can't escape it. You're chained to a depreciating asset with a 14% interest rate, watching your money evaporate every month. And that's just the beginning, because the system has found a way to keep this scam alive without fixing the problem. When the math stops working, the repo man starts working. Repossessions are exploding. Not slowly, not gradually, fast. But here's what makes this crash different from 2008. Back then, people lost their cars because they lost their jobs. Today, people with full-time jobs are losing their cars because the payments are mathematically impossible. $1,000 a month for a basic SUV. That's not transportation. That's a second mortgage. Repo yards are overflowing. Tow companies are turning down work because they physically have nowhere to put the cars anymore. And that should have collapsed prices already. But it hasn't. Why? Because there's something you're not seeing. There is a shadow market. Millions of repossessed and unsold vehicles are being quietly withheld from public sale. Banks don't want them released because the moment those cars hit the market, prices don't just decline, they collapse. Dealerships bought inventory at inflated prices. If they sell at today's real value, they go bankrupt instantly. So instead, they stall. They hold the line. They extend loans to 84 months. They roll negative equity into new loans. They pretend the market is stabilizing. It's not stabilizing. It's frozen. And frozen markets don't stay frozen forever. They break violently. Here's what happens next. One large dealer chain panics. One lender dumps inventory. One earnings report cracks. And suddenly, prices reprice all at once. Not slowly, not politely, fast. That's when incentives explode. That's when zero buyers turns into desperation. That's when people realize they massively overpaid. If you bought in the last 2 years, you're about to feel it. If you're waiting to buy, this is the most important part of the video. Do nothing. That's the move. Do not buy. Do not rush. Do not lock in a payment. Every day those cars sit unsold. Dealers bleed interest. Manufacturers bleed storage costs. Banks bleed credibility. Time is no longer on their side. It's on yours. Drive what you have. Fix it. Wait. Because this isn't the end of the car market. It's the end of the seller's market. And what you're seeing here, the debt, the denial, the silence, these are the exact same signals we saw before housing collapsed. And And that is the next video. Welcome to the margin.